Hi, welcome to the Tampa Bay Arts Passport podcast. My name is Avery Anderson. Welcome back for another episode. Super excited for today's guest. We are sitting down with Hilary Van Dyke and Joshua Bean, the founders and directors of Green Book of Tampa Bay. They have been around since about 2019 and have really carved out a space for not just Black art, but Black businesses in Tampa Bay. And we talk about that journey, where they started, why things are transitioning and changing, and what is next for the organization. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Hilary Van Dyke and Joshua Bean. Well, welcome, Hilary and Josh. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I know we have like a million things to talk about because Green Book is doing a million different things,
Yes.
it feels like. But I wanted to start like back at the origins of how this came to be. For those that don't know, you were both originally teaching at a middle school, right? And that's how you met, if I got that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So walk me through, how did you go from middle school educators to now running Green Book Tampa Bay?
You want to go first?
Sure. So Josh and I was a 8th grade language arts teacher. He was a social worker. The first year that I worked there, I didn't really know Josh, but we had like a summer leadership meeting thing that we'd been invited to, and then the rest is history, as they say. But in that, we just really aligned on like caring about community and community work, and spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we could get more involved in the work in the community, just because the students that we had really had a lot of challenges in life. And a lot of that is just related to like geography of where they were living, and the I guess impoverished state of the neighborhood. And then a lot of the things were kind of bleeding into the school day. So we were just always trying to think through, how do we positively affect the lives of our students. So we joined all sorts of things, trying to find our place. And then I would say at some point after we weren't teaching there anymore, right? I don't think we were still working at the school by then, but we were watching an episode of Killer Mike's show
Trigger warning.
Yeah. And in the first episode, he like tries to live while Black, or tries to live on only Black-owned products, which included like the car service he used, what
Cell
toothpaste
phone,
he was using, a cell phone,
hotels,
where
the
to
food
sleep.
came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it really, like not 100%. And so at the end of the episode, he says something kind of like, we really need like a Green Book of Atlanta. And then that just sparked something, because we had been trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And so then it led to, at the time, the Green Book of Hillsborough and Pinellas.
Super long name.
And we made like this online blog that just had lists of different types of businesses. And then, so that was 2019. And since then, is that right? Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, sounds right.
And since then, our website's on its 4th iteration. And it's just been growing up. And we as an organization have been growing up over the years.
And I would say during one of our iterations, it was shortly after we were beta testing, partnering with one community and kind of revamping our site. It needed a facelift.
Yeah,
and
bringing it from like a blog to an actual directory closer to like how Yelp works.
Like exactly, and we were beta testing right when George Floyd got murdered, and so it was like this outpouring of support from community, wanting tangible ways, and I think some of the local influencers. I don't know if it was who was the both Tampa and St. Pete local, I think, and they did a blurb about us, and our followers just kind of like, it felt like overnight, it just kind of, we just grew, and unfortunately, due to that, and we've kind of noticed this kind of like pendulum, or this ebb and flow of when things are going wrong in the community, or Black History Month, and there's these lulls of like when tragedy happens or something like really horrific. It's like we've gotten used to this cycle of interest.
Yeah.
or lack thereof.
We're still here no matter what. No
Yeah,
matter what's
yeah.
happening, like we're
Right.
always doing the
But-
work that we do. But the thing that did bring that attention, unfortunately, was all of the events of 2020.
That's so interesting to just think about, like, when the community needs you,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
you've always been there, or not always, but, like, you are still there.
Yeah.
And then that
Right.
ebb and flow of
Right.
coming in and out.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
So
fascinating.
like we're always here. We're
Yeah,
always,
always
like
here.
always shine light.
Yeah.
I want to ask about, because something that, like, you talk about sometimes is that it's not so much charity, but access to wealth.
Mhm.
And so, like, what does that mean when you talk about, like, this isn't just a directory, this is truly helping engage folks? I want to let you talk about that a little bit.
I feel like we have to backtrack real quick
Oh.
because when we say Green Book, just a note that there's a history in that name. So it's Victor Hugo Green in the Jim Crow era of our country created a book that was called the Green Book that helped Black folks navigate a Jim Crow America. So as they were traveling, they would know where they could safely go, get gas, eat, where they could stay. A lot of times, especially in Tampa and St. Pete, if you look at historical green books, a lot of it was people's houses were places you could go stay. And then, of course, here we know there was a lot more businesses accessible to Black folks that weren't listed in the Green Book. But ultimately, if you ended up in going to those places, then you'd be able to figure out where to go. And so that's what the name Green Book comes from, is basically a printed directory to help Black people navigate the South safely. And what we created was an online directory of Black-owned businesses in Tampa Bay for everyone, not just Black folks, to go and support the work happening here. And so with that question, the idea was helping Tampa Bay residents, spread the wealth, being more intentional about what sort of businesses they're supporting, and not just, going to Amazon or Walmart, but looking at what else could you do? Where else in your neighborhood can you go? Do you have to go to a chain, or can you support a local restaurant? What would you add to that?
I would say, obviously we were friends first, so this partnership happened organically. But I think from an optic and like a racial standpoint, I think it was really important to encourage folks to look like me, to be intentional with their spending. Like, is that really happening on a wide scale, local, citywide level? And I think we both speak and land with audiences differently. So I think it just really, lends itself to how diverse and how intentional we want everyone to be intentional with. It's our nod to the Green Book, but also kind of revamping and kind of putting a different spin on. We want everyone to use it.
Yeah.
And we talked about going through different iterations and kind of evolving and adapting to what the community needs. And one thing we're talking about is Green Book is also kind of transforming in some ways.
Yes.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Kind of, what does the future look like? Why are these changes happening?
Yeah, I will say I don't necessarily know that we've been involved in the art space pretty much since 2020. I think our first art show we did with Studio at 620 was in 2020 or 2021. Josh and I are huge art lovers, supportive of the arts. If you go to our houses, they're like art galleries.
Yeah,
like
we are
his
collectors.
place is covered in art. My place
office
is covered in art. Yeah, and same. My office. So just huge collectors of art. Most of the art that we have in our, like in my office, in my house, your office, and your house are local artists' work.
And local, like Black and brown, like strictly. Like
and a lot of it is original work. Y'all, my wallet.
Yeah. At first we started, we were in like the let's buy prints game.
Yeah.
And now we're like, we want the one-on-one. We
Yeah.
upgraded in our our career and our financial
Yeah.
status a little bit to where like
Yeah.
now we're really supporting like commission work and one-on-one pieces, and it's
Recently I was like, I'm not buying any more art, and then I bought a piece of the Black Art Gala. Like, what am I doing?
we're trying to be each other's like accountability partner.
Didn't work. I don't even have a place for this piece I bought. But yeah, so the art game was already, like, the love of art was already there. And then we'd been pitching an exhibit to people featuring, because at the time we had the directory with a list of artists, and we're like, wow, it'd be so cool to do an exhibit with them. And Bob Devin Jones was the first to say yes. So that was 2021, I think. So this year will be our 6th annual. So it's 2020 or 2021. I don't think I'm doing my math right now.
It's that ballpark. Yeah.
This year's 6th annual. So whatever year it started.
Do the math.
And then that's a group exhibit featuring artists who were listed in the directory. And then in 2024, we got a grant from Creative Pinellas to do working with Dallas Jackson to do a art residency program. So we also have a studio at the Warehouse Arts District in St. Pete. And in the artist residency program, we have like 4 to 6 artists who come. They get free studio space for 6 months. We have a lead artist named Brianna McCord who helps them grow their practice. And then at the end of the year, we do a group exhibit of those folks. Now exclusively doing that end of the year exhibit with Art Noir Gallery in Ybor. And then, throughout the years, we've been invited to go to like, come to this theater thing or this thing. So we always like pulled together a group of, at the time, business owners and now artists to come join us at whatever. So the art part has been part of it for a long time. But there's a lot of struggles in trying to do these two things. And we really were more passionate about the art side, but then kind of being like, pulled by the directory side. That's a lot of work. And there was just a lot more return on investment for the art stuff. It's a lot easier to write grant proposals when you have, more direct focus.
Yeah.
So it was like a need to do one thing well versus trying to do these two things okay. So was it last June? I think we officially we're like, all right, we're cutting off this directory part and just doing the art stuff that we already have been doing, but now we're just doing it.
Another important part of that, like the business directory was so expansive, and I think we were like overly ambitious with both, St. Pete and Tampa Bay, but with the artist part, like I think it's worth mentioning. Like it's one thing to promote and advocate for the arts, but we started developing like actual relationships with these artists. Like we can call Zulu right now. Like Jabari Ibombs was actually a student at Azalea Middle School.
Yeah.
So to see his trajectory is crazy.
Yeah.
Tracy Artist Jones, like we have like people like call them up, like commission work, refer them to other places. Like we've just, I think, really gotten the trust of artists, and they know that we're kind of rocking with them and always advocating for them and have their best interest. And it's just been with the arts residency to the Black Art Gala, which we can talk about, to the Studio 620 show. I think we've just built this like network of support and trust that's really important in this work, and something I don't take for granted.
Yeah.
I think the Black Art Gala thing is huge too, because so it was 2020 that we did the first studio. Sorry, my brain's coming. We're coming. But because of that show, word, I guess I would say, got out about us in the art space. We already had kind of had a little connection with the Straz because they were one of our friends in the Green Book, where they do an annual donation. But they connected us to the Black Art Gala event, and then we helped the first year, but then when it came back, we've been like a core part of the planning team. But the only reason we even were approached about it was that first kind of entry point on the St. Pete side. So that helped us connect into the Tampa side of artists as well.
Nick Davis was at that first show. You think about,
Yeah.
Have you been to the?
I've not been.
Oh, it is.
All right.
Avery. It is a.
You will be there. You will be there. 2027, February 28th, 6 to 9 p.m. or 6 to 10 p.m. at the...
I love that we have a date already.
Yes. February 28th, 2027, 6 to 10 at the Straz Center for Performing Arts.
It's just everyone's obviously inspired by Met Gala and vibes, and you see people in just the most beautiful attire and fits. There's a musical aspect of it too. We have performers, awards we give out, local community recognition. It's a highlight of the year for us in the art space. It's a vibe.
Very fancy.
It's a vibe. I love it.
Yeah, but affordable. Like it's come as you are.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's so much power in like listening to what the community needs and responding to that, right? Like our organizations are supposed to be in response to the community. So hearing that art is what the focus is now is a true reflection of what the community needs in some ways. Yeah. I'm curious from your perspective, because on Arts Passport, like, so your thing is all about featuring arts and artists, and Tampa Bay has such a thriving art community, but I do feel like predominantly it's a white community and gets featured mostly. So I would love to know from your perspective, like, what has it been like operating within those spaces and working to carve out spaces for BIPOC artists to really grow and thrive?
I think even the fact that we couldn't get a group exhibit to happen in any of those other places kind of, to me, was
Right.
pretty, just tells volumes about like the thing we're operating within. Even in the studio space at WADA, like we are a pretty big chunk of their diversity. And it's a group of folks in there. So we have 5 artists working in there right now. And then outside of that, there's maybe like three others in the space. So a lot of times you're showing up, trying to take space, but also letting people be their authentic selves. And I think one struggle that we have sometimes working with galleries that are not run by Black folks is this idea of maybe a more Eurocentric idea of what is good art, what
Mhm.
is hangable.
What's museum worthy? What's
Yeah. So trying to navigate like that. But I do have to say, I think St. Pete, generally speaking, and we're getting to know Tampa more still, is pretty, to me, feels fairly open to what that can look like a lot of the time. Because even when we've done like random off exhibits, like with that church in Clearwater years ago, they were, I don't know, really accepting. Some of the stuff was like, maybe a little spicy for church, but they still were cool with whatever. They didn't ask in any way to like preview any of the art that they let us put up in their multipurpose room. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is just trying to deal with, I guess, culture. I don't know what
right,
the word is.
right.
Can't think of the culture. Or I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but just the mismatch of culture and trying to just be like, this is also art. This is also fine art. And helping to expand the definition. And then also stereotypes people have about what is Black art. So sometimes dealing with like surprise that this was done by a Black artist and trying to navigate that. Like, why are you surprised by that?
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of work to do locally, but then I think I'm optimistic from like national efforts. Like I know one of my bucket lists is I want to see the Giants exhibit that Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats are doing, and it's like really showcasing their private collection. I think it's rotating through different museums, aspects of it, but really highlighting Black art and its expansiveness and its beauty and its diversity. And so it gives me hope of like creating spaces and putting Black art on the map. And there's value and there's worth in that.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask about. So all these initiatives and projects that you're working on, what is the hope for? Like, what do you hope Green Book's role in the community is and legacy, and what are you trying to build?
I think the big space we take up is working with emerging artists / people
Say
who
the
maybe made it and still can use like the local connections as well. That's where I think we thrive is helping grow people
Right.
and then helping support people who, because sometimes people get bigger than us and we're like, awesome, but we can't
Like
afford you.
iBombs don't need us,
Yeah,
right?
we
Like,
can't
you know,
afford you
like,
anymore.
Fly and go do your thing.
Yeah, like even in the studio show, we normally have like a price cap of how much the art costs because it's like I don't even know if our insurance can cover this at this point.
Right.
So we want people to grow out of that they don't need our show anymore. So I think I would say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's our kind of main role. And also coming from the perspective that we're not true, like by definition, artists and we're not experts. So we're just trying to plug in resources and give opportunity and carve out spaces for people to really thrive.
Yeah.
All right, to wrap up, I want to run through anything you want to plug, promote. We have the Studio at 620 show coming up in just a couple weeks, but then anything else you want to talk about. This is your free space to get it all out.
Okay, so we have every second Saturday, you can go to the Warehouse Arts District Artists Exchange Building, Studio 204, to see our residents, 5 to 9. And at least one of them is always there, but you can see everyone's art that lives in the space or works in the space. We have the annual artists exhibit, which is a group exhibit of Green Book listed artists. That is May 30th from 6 to 9 at Studio at 620. And if you go to the Studio at 620 website, you can buy your tickets today. And then save the date for the Black Art Gala, February 28th. 2027. And then our last show will be the artist residency program. We have a group exhibit that'll be there at Art Noir Gala, December through January. And I guess if you just go to our website, greenbooktb.net, you can find the 2 dates for the events on that because I cannot remember them right now. And our website, the event feature, you can also add a little calendar invite, right?
Fancy,
Wow.
You can
fancy.
save the date on all of those.
Look at that technology.
Yeah, and then what else?
Should we plug Art Noir?
Yeah,
Maybe. Did you
Yeah.
say that?
I think so.
Tuesday is made for
Oh
arts.
yeah,
and
so just generally
yeah.
speaking,
Yeah.
So Art Noir Gallery is a Black-owned, woman-owned, queer-owned gallery in Ybor, and they do a lot of events. And Tuesdays, basically every Tuesday from 7 to 9, there's some sort of art event happening there. Camille's also on our board, so we're obviously like fangirls, fanboys of her work. And follow us on Instagram,
Yes.
Green Book TB, Instagram, Facebook.
Please.
What else? If you know any Black artists in the community who want to be part of an exhibit, who maybe want to be part of the residency, just connect them to our work as well. We're excited to announce the new group soon. We're going to wait on that though, but dope group of people.
You can't give everything away.
Right.
We have to let some things build.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last note, we want you to continue putting your green into black. Like Issa Rae, we're going to keep out, we're staying here grinding, rooting for everyone Black. So please do your part. Let's work together in supporting Black arts in Tampa Bay. And we can't do this without you.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you both so much for coming on today because I think you are probably two of the hardest working people in our community. You're always doing something. So well, go take a nap after this.
Like let's
You
take
too,
a village.
though,
Yeah, for real.
Well, I'm just glad I can support you all and you can come on. And please, everyone, continue to follow Green Book Tampa Bay. And thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Tampa Bay Arts Passport podcast. Thank you to Hilary and Joshua from Green Book of Tampa Bay for coming on. I know they are incredibly busy, as you can tell from all the events and initiatives they're working on. Please continue to like and follow them. Go to their website, as Hilary said. They have a wonderful event calendar where you can just add things to your personal calendar, never miss an event. Please continue to follow the Arts Passport for more conversations like this, especially as we continue to grow and expand. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you explore the arts in Tampa Bay. All right, bye.